Martin Lewis is with us to take your calls now. But you've got an exciting show tonight, Martin.
Yeah, it's the first of my new series, or sort of new series. It's technically the same series as the one at the start of the year, but that's nonsense. So I call it a new series, and it's a big one tonight. I'm going through the new car finance mis-selling redress scheme. Up to 14 million people are owed a share of £8.2 billion. I'll be talking you through how to find out if it's you, what you can do about it, what to do if you've already complained or if you've used a claims management firm. All your questions answered, and I'm also joined by the boss of the regulator, the FCA, so you can put questions to me or to him. And I will be dealing with the O2 price hike on a price hike, which I am on the warpath about. So if you're an O2 customer, frankly, any mobile, broadband or pay TV customer, because likely once one does it, the others will do it too, it is a must watch. So it's a really big first share of the series tonight, 8 o'clock ITV. Great. I'd love you to tune in.
Lovely.
But that's going to be a good one. Let's get through some of these questions we've got from our viewers as well, if we may, Martin. Jasmine's got in touch regarding her water bill that has gone up with no notice. She's a Thames Water customer. A few months ago, my direct debit went from £20 to £53 a month. I was given no notice, they just took the money. Can they do this? I don't use much water, as I am single and live in a one-bedroom bungalow.
So my two thoughts on that first will be £20 to £50 a month. You know, that's a 150% increase. I mean, we've all had water bill increases. They've been going up and they've gone up hideously, around 30% on average. I don't know why yours has gone up so much, unless you were getting behind on your direct debit. You call it a water bill, not a water meter, so it should be fixed. The most important thing to do is to get in touch with the company and ask it, why has it gone up so much? Please, can you justify it? I would also think for someone who doesn't use much water, the obvious thing to look at too is looking at a water meter. Now, my rule of thumb, and this is England, Wales only, not Scotland or Northern Ireland, my rule of thumb is if you have the same or more people in your home than bedrooms, it is generally worth looking at getting a water meter. Now, you're one person in a one-bedroom home, so that's the same number. Yeah. So it is worth you looking at a water meter where the amount of water you use is what you pay for. I get some people who save 400, 500, 600 quid a year from this. You can go onto the Consumer Council to Water's website to do a quick calculation to see if it's likely you would save, and then do some reading. I mean, with most water companies, you can change back if it doesn't work for you within the first year, but not with all of them, so that's worth checking. But it sounds to me like you would save substantially on a water meter, but I'd still want to know, why on earth have you put it up 150%? That's not price rises, that's something else.
No.
Interesting. OK, this next one is from Millie. She says, we would like to switch to a new account and earn cashback and rewards from our bills. Is there anywhere we can get paid to switch as well?
It's a very interesting piece of timing, that, because so the bank account that pays you for your bills is the Santander Edge account that you pay £3 a month, and then it gives you 1% cash back on most bills paid for it by direct debit, which tends to work out pretty well for someone on typical bills. You're 60, 70 quid up a year. Now, there's something very interesting with Santander at the moment. For most of Santander's bank accounts, if you apply for a bank account right now and fulfill their criteria, which with the Edge is paying in 500 quid a month, so that's your salary going in of over 500 quid a month, and that £3 a month, but with the everyday account is just opening it up, it will give you £100 for opening the account. Now, most bonuses are for switching. Santander's currently is just for opening the account. Now, I should say you can't get that direct. It's only available, it's a sort of comparison site exclusive. So it's on all the comparison sites. So there's a free, and it's a 100 quid Amazon voucher, I should say. There's a free 100 quid Amazon voucher if you want to just switch to the everyday account. Now, but you want the Edge account. Now, that Santander £100 deal is ending Wednesday, 2 p.m. from memory. I'm doing this from memory, so I hope I'm right. I'm pretty sure I am.
This week, Martin?
This week. Okay. This week.
Tomorrow.
But my guess, and I do not know, is there's a big bank switch war at the moment, and it wouldn't surprise me if next week it launched a switches deal. This is an application deal. There's also switches deals, and switches deals tend to pay more. So you could take a gamble and hold off a week on applying, and you might be able to get, say, 175 or 200 quid for switching to the account, because you want to do that because you want to pay your bills from it, switching to the account totally to the Santander Edge next week, and then you'll get cash back on your bills. Or you could go for the safety of the £100. You can still switch to it and get the £100 Amazon voucher now. So I can't give you a firm answer, but that's roughly where I am.
Some nice choices, though. Let's have a look at this one from Jan. This is an interesting one, Martin. She wants to try and help her friend pay her mortgage. I was lucky enough to be able to retire at 60. However, my friend still has years to pay on her mortgage, so she has to continue to work. I've recently come into some money. I would like to pay off either all or some of her mortgage, or at least make some monthly payments. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do this. I've heard that £3,000 is an amount that can be given, but I'm just not sure. I also don't know about the tax rules.
What a lovely friend.
Lovely friend.
Well, everyone needs a friend like that, don't they? I mean, I would say think very carefully before you lock your money away in somebody else's property. I mean, I'm not sure whether this is a loan or a gift. It sounds like a gift. If it's a loan, you would want a loan agreement to do so. I think in terms of giving the money away, if you are giving the money away without reservation and not in return for anything, i.e. this person is not going to work for you in any way, then you can give as much money away as you choose. And it's not taxed because it's not income from work, as long as it's genuinely a gift. Yeah. The £3,000 you're talking about inheritance tax. Now, the first thing to say on inheritance tax is if you give anything away without reservation and you live 7 years afterwards and you're only 60, so typical life expectancy for you would be another 23, 24 years, then there would be no inheritance tax anyway. Even if there were inheritance tax, you have £325,000 that you don't pay inheritance tax on. And if you're giving somebody your main house as well, which you probably would when you passed away, then that's another £175,000. So it's only if you have assets above that that there would be inheritance tax to pay. My suspicion is, and you would need to consult a tax advisor to absolutely nail this down, my suspicion is if that's what you want to do, then just do it. But there are lots of psychological issues in money. There's people who spend too much and cause themselves problems. And there's people who are overly miserly and have too much money and don't live a nice enough life because of it. And then there is also over-generosity. And I'm not advising you not to do this, but I think just make sure you're making a clinical decision that you're leaving yourself enough money for the next, once you stop working, the next probably 20, 25 years that you need to live off. Generosity is a wonderful thing. Generosity that is done without thought that leaves you in difficulty later, it isn't good for anybody. So I don't know your situation. I may be talking nonsense, but it does sound very generous to me.
Okay, think it through, Jan. This next one is from Danielle. My 15-year-old daughter has recently been awarded £2,000 compensation for a car accident we had almost 5 years ago. This needs to go into a savings account that cannot be accessed until she's 18. Please, can you advise on our best options? Would an ISA be best, or is there a better bank to use for savings?
I mean, the simple thing would be put it in a junior ISA that can't be accessed until she's 18. It's tax-free savings. Top payers, Coventry Building Society. Top payer online at 4%. Top payer online, NS&I at 3.55%. They would be the obvious moves. You could look at a 3-year fixed rate. You say it has to go in savings. I mean, there is something, if it were being put away for the long term, and you weren't going to access this money for over 5 or 6 years, then for a young person, investing is often a good idea and will often outperform savings. Going and getting a fund that has a wide spread of assets, a global tracker, a US S&P tracker, a FTSE 250 tracker may be better. But if it has to go in savings, then junior ISA is the simplest option. You could also try and find a 3-year fixed savings account, but I don't think the rates are better at the moment. I'd have to double check. So I'd probably just got for the really simple one, which is a junior ISA.
Great.
Good stuff.
Thank you,
Martin. Thank you. Have a good show this evening.
Yeah, good luck
Thank you so
tonight.
much.
We look forward to seeing you then.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.